response. And for a lot of people, fear brings them into a point where they're not able to act.
That you can listen to and it will tell you to do something. And in this case, in this disaster, a lot of people were listening to that little voice and they did the right thing. And they
Maybe not to use the letter F anymore.
So colors can either absorb or reflect energy from the sun. So I have two shirts here, a black one and a white.
Not so much, I mean, we're already getting rain today, but we're talking about the rainfall going well into the weekend. You know that the Weather Prediction Center just released their winter forecast. And so I've changed, I'm focused today. I'm focused.
Also legally. So remember the law, remember how dry it is, and have a safe.
And everything in between those areas get a lot of wind. And you
Dr. Jim Siebert here with the update for the tropics for today. Now, this is by far the only thing that is of concern at all for anybody in the Gulf of Mexico. It is not organized as of yet, but a lot of instability out here. So here's the Lesser Antilles, here's the Caribbean, so it's still on the Atlantic side, and it does appear to be heading more towards San Juan and Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and places like that. So let's look at the bigger picture. Now, first of all, the Gulf of Mexico is quiet. There's nothing happening here. There's really nothing going on in the Caribbean at this point. But as we come out here, you can see why there's a bit of a concern, though, because now this is not going to happen overnight. It's still very far away, but probably will become a tropical depression within the next 24, maybe 48 hours on the outset. This would become Fred if it does become the next tropical storm, and it does look like that's going to happen. It's going to take its time, though. It's going to be working very closely either on the Caribbean side or on the Atlantic side, and then come over here by the end of the week going into next week, where we'll see what happens after it gets to Cuba. So right now the computer models are kind of in agreement of what's going to happen with this, which means it's most likely going to stay in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So, by the way, we do have this Invest 93. It's got a 0% chance of organizing, so we're not going to worry about this one. So it's Invest 94, which will most likely become Fred. Let's take a look at the modeling. So notice that the models are very close together. This is actually a pretty good, pretty tight forecast for something that's way out here. As we come a little bit closer to home, once we get into the end here, we see a little bit of variability within the modeling, but most models are taking this to the right, which would likely put it towards Florida in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Does not appear at this point to be a threat to us in the Houston area or southeast Texas. A lot of it has to do with the big high pressure we've been talking about all summer long, it seems like, and that's also why it's so hot here in southeast Texas. So that's what's happening right now as far as anything that we're watching in the Atlantic Sea basin. And keep in mind, from now until the next about month or so is where we move to the height of hurricane season, which really doesn't happen until about September 12th, September 13th. We're going to continue to give you a daily update here on what's happening in the tropics and how it could or not impact us here in southeast Texas and the Gulf of Mexico. But everybody at this point, we do need to stay alert as we move to the height of hurricane season.
Well, let me show you what I'm talking about, okay? So believe it or not, so the La Nina, you know, we talked about La Nina having an impact on our forecast for the hurricane season. Then, now, it looks like that La Nina is going to actually really develop as we head on into winter. That means, and you're going to love this, it's going to be hotter in the southwest and colder in the north. And so I thought, you know what? I think I better release my own forecast just so you can see how I feel about the upcoming winter season. Here it is. Spoiler alert, it's going to get cold. Brr.
This has been a presentation of Dr. Jim's Winter Outlook.
So that's pretty much how I look at it. That's how I look at it, is that, yeah, it's going to get cold again this year. It's going to be winter. Even though we say it's going to be warm in the southern parts of the country, we'll still have some cold spells, okay? Be prepared for that. But this is what La Nina looks like. Cold, cold air coming in from the north, and then we see the wetter weather up to the north. So that's what we're looking at as we head on into winter. Cold to the north, kind of warmer to the south, but we are still going to have some cold spells. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I spent a long time putting that forecast together so that you can be prepared for the upcoming winter season.
So clearly it's cold.
Yeah.
It's
really
the takeaway
cold
from all of this. had our hurricane special at 9:30, and you talked about a lot of information, but I just noticed something as I was looking at your gear.
Yes.
You pre-cut open the packaging for some of the products, and that's something I don't think I would have thought of. So what are some other things people just totally forget?
And the reason I did that is so it fits in my bag, but I still want it protected and I want it all in one piece.
And you don't want to be fiddling around trying to find the
absolutely.
right knife when you're in an emergency.
Well, and one of the things, I mean, we could talk like for an hour about this,
Oh, of course.
okay?
What do people forget?
The things that they forget, okay, very, very important. Never, ever, ever underestimate the power of toilet paper.
Wow.
All right, even in these little kits. So these are small, but I have several of these. The moment you don't have toilet paper in your life,
the whole
your
family
life
is going to be
not happy. Okay.
chaos.
The other thing is the snacks. This is how you get your kids involved. All right. So I have 2 bags of snacks, actually more than that, and my kids get to choose what they like. So when you're in a tough situation like a storm, having food that you like, comfort food, is a good thing. Now, every 6 months, we switch out the food.
Right.
Because, you know, it can expire. So
Sure.
the first weekend of April and the first weekend of October, we call it Apocalypse Weekend. And my kids literally run around the house saying, apocalypse, apocalypse, because they know they get to have all of the treats out of their bag. And then we put it in with new things.
Because this is a lot for one family member to have to manage. But you also talked about how, you know, having everyone have similar things in their bag makes things easier.
Everybody has the same. It's exactly the same, except for maybe the snacks might be a little bit different. So you know what's in their bag, and everybody has the same bag. Of course, we have their initial on it, so they know whose it is. Because I learned this with Harvey. We all had bags, and we were not this organized, but we were close to this. But we didn't know who had what. And now
who's
I
got the
know
flashlight?
exactly who has what, because everybody has the same things in there.
And there's always, unfortunately, a chance you'll be separated or something will happen. So this way, everyone's ready.
Right, and we have other things like, you know, little medicines, little toiletries, not to, of course, duct tape. Okay, you can never ever.
I don't think I would have thought of that.
It's the most important little thing, because you can put it on a car, you can make a shelter out of it, you can even use it for medical purposes if you needed to. I mean, so duct tape is a really good thing, and also water. Don't ever forget, you can't carry much water, but you need to have a water filter. Multiple ways to do that, and I also can boil water with my little stove and my mess kit.
This looks expensive.
Okay.
Does it have to be?
No, absolutely not. In fact, #1 rule, okay, for my emergency preparedness plan, if it's not on sale, we do not buy it. But we do this every month. I'm buying something for our kids to upgrade, to get better, and get better ideas. But you just have to start and make it a lifestyle, not an event. You just do it all the time.
And that's all about planning ahead. So if you need more tips, you can check out Dr. Jim on Facebook, Twitter, ask him questions there, and we'll be posting all of this on our website as well.
Okay.
All right.
One of the biggest safety concerns when it comes to fireworks on the 4th of July is the stabilization of the fireworks themselves. So many times people will be shooting things off in their neighborhood and it will tip over and suddenly a firework becomes a deadly projectile. Something you can do to make your life easier is to create your own launch pad. Get a piece of plywood or any type of wood and you actually put a couple of brackets on there. What you're trying to do is stabilize the firework. So you simply put the bracket in, put the firework next to it, put a little tape around it, and that firework is not going to tip over. If you're shooting anything from a tube where it's legal, you can put a stake into the ground and actually attach the tube to the stake so it will not tip over when you're firing. It makes it a lot safer. These simple little things can make a big difference in your safety and also how much fun you can have on the 4th of July. Just as the calendar changes, so do many of the risks we face from nature. The month of August is hot, and that means the heat can have a huge impact on our lives. Here's a few of the risks we need to consider. The sun's energy warms the oceans and evaporates massive amounts of moisture. The winds carry it into the southwestern parts of the country, and in August, the monsoon season is in full swing. In many areas, you can almost set your watch when thunderstorms will pop up with the heating of the day. Be prepared for super heavy rainfall, strong winds, and lots of lightning. Speaking of ocean waters warming, we are getting closer to the peak of hurricane season. If you live near a coast, remember to check your readiness for a tropical storm or hurricane. It's a lot easier to get supplies before a storm is pointed in your direction. So do yourself a favor and stock up now. Hope for the best, but be prepared for anything. The month of August is a good time to go hiking and enjoy the great outdoors. But remember, by the end of the month, some of the mountain areas may get some early cold fronts. So you've got to keep an eye to the sky, and don't forget to bring some cold weather or winter weather gear along. This month means it's back to school time for many students. Remember to be heat conscious about all your outdoor activities like practices for football, marching band, cross country, and even waiting in the hot sun for a school bus to arrive. For most of us, we spend August trying to keep cool, but it's a perfect time for ice cream, swimming pools, and small fans. Remember, it's always a good idea though to know our weather risks. So chill out, have some fun, and stay alert to the changing conditions. For Weather Nation, I'm Dr. Jim Siebert.